Hi guys, this is Reddy from Wealthy Options. Welcome to another episode of GDT Pulse. Today is Nifty expiry. It's an interesting expiry. So let's look into the details. So today Nifty as an underlying, it just opened, with a small gap up of 30 points, but that was immediately sold into the moment the market opened. And then from there, Nifty kept on falling, and it started, forming a pattern of, the lower highs and lower bottom. It is a clean downtrend. Till 12 o'clock. So in terms of a premium, the straddle premium, Nifty straddle premium, it opened with, I think around 105, but I think it quickly dropped to 95. So anything, below 120, levels and all, it's definitely a low premium. Today, the starting premium base was absolutely very, very low. So I think the premium available at around 916 was somewhere like 92, 95. That's the kind of a range of straddle premium we got it. So obviously my strategies started entering from 916 onwards, like with 25 500 straddles. Okay, and then so then what happened is, as Nifty started going down, so some of this up to here, there was no real problem, and the premium was neither not melting super fast, at the same time it was not spiking up as well. So it was going okay, but with a kind of one directional bias. But this particular candle at 950, this has broken last 3 days low. So it's Nifty was trading in a very narrow range in the last 3 days, but this particular candle, it closed last 3 days low, and that resulted in a IV spike quickly. So that is where the straddle premium, so it shot up from 85 rupees to almost like I think 105, 105, almost like a 20 points premium. Not only that, because it's a quick it's a quick fall, and that too breaking the last 3 days low. So this spike in puts, that resulted in not a big slippages, but I think reasonable slippages, and also it has taken out I think most of the puts on the downside, and most of my strategies left out with call premiums. So they are left out with the call premiums, but then Nifty continued to fall. But because as the IV was not cooling off, the premium IV was not cooling off, and the premium was not falling. So though it was a gradual downside move, I think the premium was not cooling off very fast, right? So only after this particular time and all, actually, there was a reasonable drop. But I think so initially, so when this particular candle broke, I was in a small loss, probably I think just a 0.1 or something actually. But as the my strategies turned into the directional, so call started making decent profit and all, and especially the real the premium decay that happened from 11:30 onwards. So I would say from morning opening till 11:30 there was no decay at all, right? So there was absolutely no decay. The main money, the profit that came up to 11:30, whatever the little profit I had, it was mainly because of the delta move. So it's only from the delta, right? So from 11:30, so Nifty started consolidating rather than going further down in the downward channel. And then as a result of that, Nifty premium started cooling off, and then there was some side, kind of a recovery. But so this recovery, though it's not like in a very short moves and all. It gave sufficient time. So because of that, the call premiums also did not shoot up much. So I think there are very few. Probably one or two calls SLs would have hit during this time, but not much damage. So and then again, Nifty started sort of consolidating with this kind of a very narrow range, very, I would say, for a short term it's a downtrend only for next 1 hour or so. So again, continued to cool off. This is where there was a massive cool off, And so I think by this time I had a profit of almost like a 0.35 to 0.4 percentage, and the one big jerk move came here. So this particular candle, I mean, though on the chart it looks like a relatively small candle, but I think this move came pretty fast, and for some reason, I mean, the puts quickly shot up, because it was, I think the options were pricing the risk of breaking the day low, which will result in a further IV spike. So what happened is, I mean, during this time, whatever the entries I had after 12 o'clock, up to this particular move, I think most of them got suffered, like so they all of the puts stop loss hits, except I think one or two. All the other entries stop losses hit. So to be honest, I mean, today morning, though it was a directional move, it was not like a big damage, but it's afternoon entries, post noon after 12 o'clock, whatever the entries I had, I think every entry sort of resulted in a loss up to 2 o'clock, right? So this gave this took out most of the puts SL, and then dramatically, as Nifty held on to the day's low, it started going for a recovery. The recovery is fine, but I think when you see a very sharp recovery, I mean, especially this particular candle with big big up move, you can see the wicks and all. I mean, this particular candle wicks, it shot up like anything. So when this happened, most of the calls SLs hit, especially all the calls and all the straddles and strangles. I mean, whatever I entered after 12 o'clock, so those puts got hit here, and then the calls, they got hit here. So basically, when all those strategies ended in red, and then this move not continued, but otherwise, if this move have continued, I think some of the positions which I was holding, even from the morning, though I have some trailing and all actually, but even then they also would have suffered the SLs, but that did not happen. Again, Nifty started consolidating from here. So during this time, during this consolidation period, again till 240, so it was cool decay. There was you can see here, so at one, when the recovery, when during this time, we can see from here onwards, I mean, when the reversal happened, the premium started spiking, right? So premium started spiking, and during that time, there were multiple times, like it was trying to break and break on the upside, and it was posing like it's going to be a big reversal, but that did not happen. So whenever the calls were whenever the Nifty was trying to recover, and the calls were shooting up, and as a result of that, I think the straddle premium used to move from almost like a 45-48 levels to kind of a 55-60 levels and all. So during this time, it was a tough, and then finally at 2 o'clock onwards, so especially when this risk is materialized, after this candle broke out on the upside, and there was no follow-up buying to take the Nifty upside. So when this has happened, so then Nifty premiums, the straddle premium started cooling off. You can see that, I mean, the next probably 40 minutes is a nice consolidation. This is where I think there was a fantastic decay in the premium, but unfortunately, I mean, most of my entries, I mean, whatever my strategies took after 12 o'clock, they all almost suffered SL both sides. So I had a very few positions, and this later some of the strategies, I mean, my strategies, some of the strategies, I mean, the system entered after 2 o'clock. So they this particular move took out some put SLs, but then some calls were left out, and some strategies managed to escape the put SL as well. But at the end of the day, I mean, anyway, I thought the Nifty is going to expire somewhere close to 25,400, or just probably, I mean, 10 to 15 points below 25,400, but I think it all the way dragged up to 25,350. But one good thing is, after 210 there was a support from theta decay. So as the premium was decaying, so though these particular big candles came, so it did not result in further increase in the losses and all. So in fact, during this time, before this premium decay has happened. So I was in a profit at some point of time here by 0.35 or 0.4 percentage, but here the losses went up to 0.3 percentage. So, and then from here, because of this consolidations and some fewer positions and also the positions entered after that, so they started taking the advantage of aggressive premium decay, and at the end of the day, I think so it ended like a no profit or no loss. I mean, it's a profit of 7,500, but on a account size of mine, I would say, I mean, I will call it as a flat. So this account, I mean, ended with close to 9,000 profit, and this particular one with I think just less than 1,000 rupees profit, and this one with 2,000 rupees. I think this is where I had one additional leg support the SL with I think the biggest slippage. So when in the afternoon, I think after 2:30 or 2:20 or 2:30, I mean, when there is a sudden sell off, and that's where I think I had a slippage on the puts. So so that's how the day went, and one good thing is it's clear that, I mean, Nifty was choppy from noon onwards. So you can see one W shape. Not only that, there was a sudden the upside spike on the call side, and then followed by a the reversal. And if you look at from the day high to day low, Nifty almost felt like a 180 points. But the real trouble was from 12 o'clock. So with all these kind of a choppy moves, right? So I mean, we cannot expect a smooth expiry. I mean, every time, if that is the case, I think everyone can make the money. But the good thing is, I mean, I haven't noticed any kind of a Jane Street sort of a manipulation today. The spikes happened in straddle premium by, let's say, I mean, 15-20 points, but that's a result of underlying moving or underlying was breaking out on the either upside or downside. That is absolutely fine. I mean, that happens time and again. It has been happening from the years, and that is how the premiums also supposed to behave, right? So good thing is there is no Jane Street kind of a manipulation. So this is the second expiry after the Jane Street manipulation was exposed by SEBI. So as I said in my previous video also, I'll continue to monitor, I mean, how the premiums are going to behave for probably next another 1 month or 2 months, and then if required, probably, I mean, I may need to bring some changes to the strategies, because if there is not going to be too much of manipulation, so obviously there is not going to be too much volatility in the underlying, and also the premium pattern will be more or less it won't be like straddle premium goes from 100 to 170, 170 to 80, and then 60, then again suddenly 120. So to counter, I mean, all those kind of sudden moves both in underlying and also the premium, so I have been using some strategies in addition to the regular strategies. I mean, whatever I was trading, I think those trades, those ones may not give a trade, and even if they give a trade, I think they may not give a reasonably good profit. So I need to think about, I mean, what I should do about those particular strategies if this volatility, I mean, Jane Street kind of a manipulation, subsides. So, but yeah, I'm not going to take that call now. So I'll see it for certainly for next 1.5 months to 2 months, and then I'll take a call, right? So I think that's on a whole, and so I don't think so I have anything more to cover, and thanks for watching. And if you like this kind of a content, just share it with your friends, and also just give a like. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, and just give a subscribe, and just click on the subscribe button, so that, I mean, you will not miss any of my videos, right? So with that, I'll see you in my next episode, that is on a SENSEX expiry next week on Tuesday. So until then, take care, bye.